I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt, who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
So rather than acknowledging the real victims on 9/11, the almost 3,000 people who died that day, Zohran Mamdani wants to talk about his aunt wearing a hijab on the subway and her being a victim because of how she felt. There's only one problem with that story. He doesn't have an aunt that lived in New York City on 9/11. And when he was pressed on this, he said, well, it was actually his father's cousin. And when they asked who she was, conveniently, she's no longer living, and he didn't want to talk about it anymore. So what did Socialist Mamdani do next? Head over to friendly MSNBC for a sit-down interview where he would claim that this was all about, you guessed it, racism and Islamophobia. And he lashes out on J.D. Vance and Andrew Cuomo.
And I think often about Toni Morrison. She said that the function of racism is distraction. And I think that that is true. So much of the unabashed bigotry we've seen in the last few days, whether from Curtis Lewa, Andrew Cuomo, Eric Adams, is a reflection of their own recognition that they do not have a plan to make the most expensive city in America affordable, or that their plan is in fact to make it more expensive. But Toni Morrison also said, I insist on being shocked. If we do not allow ourselves to be shocked by this kind of racism, then we are in fact accepting it as a fact of life, and that is something that I will never accept.
J.D. Vance even took a swipe at you. The Vice President of the United States took a swipe, and we have the tweet where he basically mocked the mention. You yesterday mentioned in your comments your aunt, and he took a swipe at it saying, according to Zohran, the real victim of 9/11 was his auntie who got some allegedly bad looks, and completely marginalizing the experience of Muslim Americans in a post 9/11 America.
I mean, this is all the Republican Party has to offer. Cheap jokes about Islamophobia so as to not have to recognize what people are living through. Attempts to pit people's humanity against each other. And I think whether it's J.D. Vance or it's Andrew Cuomo, it is the same kind of politics. It's a politics of division.
And I find it pretty ironic that liberals like Mamdani have no problem blaming white people for all the ills of the world. White people are responsible for slavery. They should still be punished. They should still be blamed. They need to be second-class citizens. He has no problems more than 150 years later. Yet, if somebody even looks at a Muslim wrong after 9/11, then the Muslim is the real victim. Thankfully, the polls are tightening in the New York City mayoral race. I think this is the one time in my life where I could actually imagine that Andrew Cuomo is a better choice to do anything, but this is it, folks. So let's pray and hope that New York City dodges this bullet. It would be an absolute disaster to have this socialist Mamdani as the mayor. If you didn't think New York City could get any worse, if this guy wins, buckle up. Guys, if you like this video, please like, share, comment, and stay tuned for more. Thanks, guys.